Right now, at this exact moment, 4 people can end human civilization. 1 decision, 1 button, 3 billion dead. Who presses it first? The nuclear football. It's real. It's always within 20 feet of these leaders. Inside, launch codes, authentication cards, strike options, and a decision that takes 6 minutes from order to impact. 6 minutes to end the world. Let me show you exactly how the red button actually works. Early warning satellites detect missile launch. NORAD confirms. Mr. President, we have 18 minutes until impact. The President is woken. Doesn't matter where. Camp David, Air Force One, the toilet. The military aide with the football appears. The briefcase opens. Inside, the black book with strike options. Option 1, limited response, 50 to 100 warheads. Military targets only. Option 2, major attack, 500 to 800 warheads, cities and military. Option 3, full arsenal, 1,770 deployed warheads. Total annihilation. The President has 6 minutes to choose. President selects option. Reads authentication code from card he carries 24/7. This code changes daily. President recites code to Pentagon. Chairman of Joint Chiefs confirms identity. Order transmitted to 14 Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines. 400 Minuteman III ICBMs in silos. 60 B-52 and B-2 bombers. Submarine commanders authenticate with 2-man rule. Both captains must turn keys simultaneously. Missiles launch 10 minutes after presidential order. By minute 28, 400 nuclear warheads are in the air. By minute 33, first city vaporizes. No one can stop it. Not Congress, not the Supreme Court, not the Vice President, only the President. One person, one decision. So we know how the button works, but who is most likely to actually press it? The answer is changing right now. April 2026. February 27th, 2024. Putin announces special combat readiness for nuclear forces. March 2026. He does it again. 70 times in 2 years. The world has stopped listening. Big mistake. Russia's nuclear arsenal, 5,977 warheads. More than any nation on Earth. Putin has publicly stated he'd use them in 3 scenarios. One of those scenarios is happening right now. Scenario 1. Existent threat to Russian state. Putin's nuclear doctrine, updated February 2024, nuclear weapons may be used if conventional attack threatens existence of the state. Vague on purpose. What qualifies as existential? Loss of Crimea? Russia claims it's Russia now. Ukraine joining NATO? Putin calls this red line. Western missiles striking Moscow. Happened March 2024. Current reality, April 26. Ukraine war entering year 3. NATO now includes Finland and Sweden. 800-mile border with Russia. US supplying ATACMS missiles, range 190 miles, can hit Moscow. Putin's calculus. If I'm losing Russia anyway, why not use them? Scenario 2. NATO boots on the ground. March 15th, 2026. French President Macron suggests NATO peacekeepers in Ukraine. Putin's response: direct conflict with NATO means nuclear war, not a bluff. Scenario 3. Regime collapse. If Putin faces coup or overthrow, Russian doctrine allows nuclear use to prevent domestic catastrophe. Translation: if I'm going down, everyone's going down. The Putin psychology. Believes in strength. Has said publicly, why do we need a world if Russia doesn't exist in it? That's not rhetoric. That's a warning. Probability assessment. Putin presses the button if NATO troops enter Ukraine. 60% probability. Ukraine retakes Crimea with Western weapons. 40%. He faces internal coup. 30%. Overall, Putin risk level very high. Is dangerous. But there's someone with more to lose and a timeline that's ticking down. 2027. October 2022, Xi Jinping tells the Chinese military, prepare for war. Taiwan reunification cannot be delayed forever. April 2026. CIA assesses he's given them a deadline, 2027. That's 8 months away. If China invades Taiwan, the US intervenes. If the US sinks Chinese ships, China strikes US bases. If US strikes mainland China, we've just entered the nuclear threshold. And Xi knows it. Why Xi might use nuclear weapons. Reason 1. Losing Taiwan war. Pentagon war games show US can defeat China in extended Taiwan war. But China loses 90% of its navy. Communist Party collapses. Xi loses power. His calculation, if I'm losing Taiwan and losing power, tactical nukes on US carriers stop both. Reason 2. US strikes mainland. If US hits Three Gorges Dam, supplies 10% of China's power, or Beijing command centers or Communist Party leadership, Chinese doctrine allows nuclear response to existential conventional attack. Reason 3. 2027. Deadline. Why 2027? Xi turns 74. After that, too old for war. PAL modernization complete. Ready for invasion. US election year. America distracted, divided. Perfect storm. China's nuclear expansion. 2020, 350 warheads. 2026, 500 plus warheads. 2030, projected, 1,000 warheads. Building 300 new ICBM silos detected by satellites. They're preparing for nuclear war. The Xi psychology, China dream, equals Taiwan reunification before he dies. Willing to risk everything for legacy. Views Taiwan as sacred mission. Nuclear scenario. If US is winning Taiwan war, China uses tactical nuke on US carrier group, kills 5,000 sailors instantly. Forces US choice, escalate to full nuclear war or back down. Z gambles, America won't trade Los Angeles for Taipei. Probability assessment. Xi uses nukes if Taiwan war going badly, 50% probability. US strikes Three Gorges or Beijing, 70%. Domestic unrest threatens CCP rule, 40%. Overall, Xi risk level, high and rising towards 2027. Putin might use nukes to survive. Xi might use them to win. But the next leader